Doja Cat has found herself in some fan drama once again after a video went viral of her interacting with one of her fans. She's come online to call this fan out. It's been a whole situation, and there is a big conversation being had about what went down in this video.
I'm about to give my shirt to Doja Cat because she's the iconic girl.
Period!
No, you deserve it. Literally, and if you ever want anything more, I got you, always.
3 hours later.
Hi guys, I was just at a party and I got informed that Doja said some about me on Twitter. I just want to clear this up because it hurts, because I loved her. I watched her at Coachella. I've never claimed to be the biggest fan, but I really stand her and I think what her work is amazing.
Been saying for a couple years now that Doja Cat hates her fans because she's gotten into some drama with them over the years. It kind of started in mid-2023 after a series of social media posts by her. She kind of mocked her fans who called themselves kittens.
What's this situation on Twitter? I didn't really plan on talking about it because I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but after seeing how everybody's been debating back and forth on whether or not the fan or Doja Cat is right, it kind of intrigued me to look a little bit further into it because there are so many different ways that you can look at and unpack this situation.
Most artists, the fans kind of want a name for themselves as supporters, and kittens just seemed fitting because, well, one, we're talking about Doja Cat, and she literally was a cat at the Met Gala that year. But despite that, she decided to vent about her fans calling themselves kittens. She wrote on Threads, "My fans don't name themselves. If you call yourself a kitten or kittens, that means you need to get off your phone and get a job and help your parents with the house."
For anyone that does not know, Doja Cat ran into a fan on the street. It looked like they both might have been drinking a little bit. He just put out a new shirt. He told her that she needs to get one. She said, "I want one right now." And he was wearing her size. So he takes off the shirt, gives it to her. They exchange hugs, kiss on the cheek, and then they go their separate ways and everything seems like it's fine.
Part about all of this is that some fans pointed out that she had literally come up with that name for her fans herself. Yes, she was the one who named her own fandom that she was basically saying she didn't like the name of anymore.
But then she tweets out that she was uncomfortable and he ends up apologizing, and the internet kind of ran wild with it. So let's just start at step one, and this was the clip of their interaction.
I'm about to give my shirt to Doja Cat because she's the iconic girl.
Period!
No, bitch, you deserve it. Literally, and if you ever want anything more, I got you, always. This is the
Period! Happy Pride Month!
Pablo.
Nice to meet you.
Wait, what's your real name? Or is it Doja? Your name?
Ami.
Ami? Ami, so nice to meet you, girl.
Nice
You're
to meet
beautiful.
you.
I hope you have the best night. You're literally everything in life.
Thank you.
Yeah. My girl, Ami. Love you, dog. Don't say thank you.
You smell great.
You guys, we have to talk about Doja Cat because once again, she's in the middle of major fan drama, and this time, it's messy, emotional, and public. Like, fans are saying she totally humiliated someone who just tried to show her love. We're talking about a viral moment, an unexpected clapback, and a lot of people who now feel like Doja has officially crossed a line again. Here's what happened. Influencer and longtime Doja fan Pablo Tamayo recently met her at a bar. Seemed like a random chill night. Pablo had just launched a Pride-themed clothing drop and was actually wearing one of his new shirts. Doja sees it, compliments it, and tells him she wants one. Pablo, clearly excited, literally takes the shirt off his back and gives it to her. The moment is caught on video, and honestly, the vibe was good. She's smiling, she's hugging him, she even tells him he smells great. Like, there's zero indication that anything is off. So when that video hits TikTok and starts blowing up, millions of views, tons of sweet comments, people thought, wait, is Doja finally warming up to fans again? But then she tweeted, and it flipped the entire situation upside down.
Name of anymore. Back in 2020, she had tweeted, "Because I don't feel morally right pet naming you guys, I need you all to pick one and stick with it because I see this question floating around too much. What do we want to be?" And she said, "Kittens, litter, cubs, pride." And one of her fans at the time clocked her on this whole thing and said, "Only using the name you gave your fans."
Doja comes online and posts this out of nowhere tweet. "I threw that musty ass shirt away, by the way." And people were like, wait, what? It didn't stop there. In a follow-up tweet, she said something like, "I'll smile at you, but that doesn't mean I mess with you. Don't touch me or manhandle me when you don't even know me." And just like that, boom. What looked like a wholesome fan interaction turned into another Doja versus the internet situation. Fans were shocked, Pablo was hurt, and now the internet's in full meltdown mode over who's in the right and who's just doing way too much. But trust me, this is only the beginning. So after Doja's tweet started circulating, and let's be real, trending, Pablo saw it. And you guys, his reaction, it was heartbreaking, confused, and honestly, pretty classy, considering how she just roasted him in front of millions.
And she replied and said, "When I was an alcoholic teen." And although Doja is known to troll, her fans just weren't loving this, and it continued on as she kept posting on threads. One fan said, "What should I change my name to since you don't like the term kitten?"
He hopped on TikTok and basically said he was shocked. Like this wasn't some random fan chasing clout. Pablo explained that Doja actually initiated the moment. According to him, she complimented his shirt, asked about the Pride collection, and even said she wanted one right then and there. When he offered to give her the one he was wearing, she said, "No way, you're not gonna give that to me," kind of in disbelief, but excited. And yeah, he took off the shirt, handed it to her, they hugged, exchanged a few sweet words, and he walked away feeling like, okay, maybe he just had this cool, once-in-a-lifetime moment with someone he admired. Then boom! Days later, he finds out she publicly called his shirt musty and accused him of manhandling her and kissing her face without permission. And Pablo? He didn't go off. He didn't fight back. He got emotional. In his response, he said he never meant to make her uncomfortable. He admitted he might have been too nice or too much, but emphasized that he's gay, that he deeply respects Doja and would never want to cross any boundaries.
And she said, "Just delete the entire account and rethink everything. It's never too late." People were just not loving the situation. They felt like it wasn't cute, it wasn't funny, and she was just being mean to the people that love her.
And let's not ignore this. He also said the video people saw, that was after all the friendly conversation. She seemed chill. She seemed into it. She didn't ask for the camera to stop rolling. He even said he wouldn't have posted it if she hadn't been totally cool about it in the moment. Pablo ended his video by saying, "I'm a normal person. I just launched a Pride collection and Doja liked my shirt. That's it. I thought we had a moment." And here's the kicker. People started siding with him. Because regardless of where you stand on celebrity boundaries, there was this growing sense online that something about Doja's response didn't add up. So, the internet did what it always does. It picked sides, and y'all, the split was intense. On one end, you had people defending Doja, saying she absolutely had the right to speak up if she felt uncomfortable. They pointed out that just because someone looks okay in a video doesn't mean they were okay. Some fans even said Doja looked a little too smiley, like maybe she was just trying to get through an awkward moment gracefully. You know, putting on the nice girl face in public even when things feel off. One user commented,
Now, in December of that year, in 2023, she was interviewed by Apple Music, and she addressed the backlash that she had gotten of people feeling like she hated her fan base, and she wanted to clarify that she never actually said she hates her fans.
It was so creepy, but she handled it with so much grace. People don't always freeze up visibly when they're uncomfortable. She said what she had to say, respect that. And that's a valid take. Celebs are human. Just because they're famous doesn't mean they owe you physical contact or emotional availability. Totally fair. But that's just one side of it, because on the other end, fans were like, hold up, didn't you start the whole interaction? They started pulling screenshots, watching the TikTok frame by frame, pointing out how Doja had her leg up on Pablo, how she smiled, laughed, and even said he smelled good. People felt like she flipped the vibe after the video went viral and used the situation to throw him under the bus. One comment that really blew up said, "You can't vibe with someone publicly and then clown them online for the same moment. That's just mean girl energy." Another compared her to Regina George from Mean Girls. You know that scene. "OMG, I love your skirt. Where'd you get it?" And then immediately trashes it behind the girl's back. The musty shirt line, people felt like that was the digital version of that moment. It wasn't just the tweet, it was how she said it. She didn't calmly state her boundary or express discomfort. She dragged him, publicly. And fans who followed her since day one started bringing up a bigger question.
You smell great.
So on paper, I feel like it seems harmless. I mean, he was a little extra, but I don't feel like she gave off the body language that she wasn't okay with it. At one point when they hugged, she put her leg around him, and then he ended up going in and giving her a kiss on the cheek, and she complimented him at the end, and it just seemed like a wholesome interaction. I would have never thought twice about it.
Is this a one-time outburst or a pattern? Because if you followed Doja for more than 5 minutes, you know this isn't the first time she's clashed with fans. In fact, some would say this is just the latest chapter in a very long story. So, let's rewind a little, because this isn't new behavior from Doja. If you've been following her since 2023, then you definitely remember the time she basically turned on her own fandom. And the internet hasn't let that go. Back in the day, Doja had this huge, loyal group of online fans who proudly called themselves the Kittens. Makes sense, right? She literally dressed as a cat at the Met Gala, leaned into feline aesthetics, and even suggested the name herself during a fan poll. In 2020, she posted something like, "What do we want to be called? Kittens? Cubs? Pride?" So the fans ran with it. Fast forward to mid-2023, and suddenly, Doja's entire attitude toward them shifted. She logged onto Threads and basically told fans to stop calling themselves kittens and go get a job. Yep, she literally said, if you call yourself a kitten, you need to log off and help your parents with the house.
But then she ended up tweeting this: "I threw that musty shirt away, by the way," which is kind of cold, but then she followed up to explain herself more and says, "Bottom line is, I'll smile at you, but it doesn't mean I F with you, and don't touch me and manhandle me when you don't even effing know me. If you know, you know. I honestly think I need to stand up for myself in the moment sometimes. And he didn't even know my effing name to be touching me, and kissing me on my face like that is crazy."
Ouch. Fans were confused, insulted, and heartbroken. Especially since these were the same people who had boosted her rise. From meme rapper to chart-topping icon, many of them had usernames with kitten in them. They were promoting her music, editing fan cams, buying her merch. And now she was mocking them? When one fan politely asked, "What should I change my name to since you don't like kittens?" She clapped back with, "Delete your whole account and rethink everything." It wasn't even snarky funny, it just came off cold and harsh. Doja later tried to defend herself in an interview with Apple Music. She claimed it was all misunderstood humor and said she never explicitly said she hated her fans. She said it was just her trolling, playing into meme culture. Quote, "You'll never see a direct quote where I say, 'I hate my fans.'" But fans weren't buying it, because trolling or not, words matter. Especially when they come from someone with millions of followers and influence. And when you consistently clap back at your own supporters, it starts looking less like humor and more like hostility. And now, with the Pablo situation, people are connecting the dots. They're saying, this isn't an isolated moment. This is just Doja being Doja, again. Alright, so here's where things start to feel a little too convenient. Because while Doja Cat is trending for dragging a fan over a Pride shirt, guess what else she's been quietly doing behind the scenes? Promoting her new album. Yep, Doja has a project dropping soon. Her next album, reportedly titled Vi, has already had snippets teased on Instagram Live. And back in April, she casually released the track list. No big rollout, no over-the-top hype, just vibes.
And I don't necessarily disagree with her. Like, if I met somebody I'm a fan of, I'm not gonna kiss them on the cheek. I'm not gonna be all touchy with them, because as much as I may have seen them a lot on videos, music videos, interviews, whatever it is that I end up watching them on because I'm a fan, they don't know me. Like, they might be familiar to me because I see them all the time.
But now, all of a sudden, she's viral again. Headlines everywhere. Everyone's talking about her. And not just her fans. Everyone. From stan Twitter to mainstream news. Now let's be real. Doja has never played by the typical industry rules. She doesn't do squeaky clean PR campaigns. She doesn't give safe, polished interviews. She trolls. She tweets. She deletes. Then she tweets again. So, is it really that crazy to wonder if this whole Pablo situation just so happened to explode at the exact moment she needed some attention? Because here's the thing. In today's pop culture cycle, controversy equals visibility, and visibility equals streams. And while Doja might not be everyone's favorite celebrity right now, her name is everywhere. People are rewatching the viral shirt video, quote tweeting her posts, diving into old drama, even listening to her old music to decode her energy. Some people are even pointing out that Doja's entire career has been built on chaotic moments, like the time she said she didn't like any of her own music, or when she shaved her eyebrows on Instagram Live, or when she said she hated her stage name and wanted to be known by her real one. All of it felt random at the time, but all of it kept her name buzzing. So now, fans are asking, is this just Doja being Doja? Or is she intentionally stirring the pot every time she's about to drop a new era? And if so, does that mean Pablo was just a pawn in the PR game?
And I feel like that's where people get really parasocial, where they watch a content creator so much that when they see them in person, they feel very comfortable with them. And so they just want to run up and be buddy-buddy, but you have to understand that that person does not know who you are.
It's the kind of theory that sounds wild until you realize she's done this dance before. So now that the dust is settling, we're seeing the real impact of this whole mess, and it's not looking great for Doja. Fans are walking away, quietly, loudly, and sometimes with full-blown threads explaining why they're done. One recurring theme: people are just tired. Tired of the attitude, tired of the backhanded tweets, tired of supporting someone who makes it feel like a chore to be a fan. A lot of former stans are saying, "We were here when you were weird and underground, when you were still playing the internet game like us, but now you act like we're the enemy." And what's even more wild is how many longtime supporters have come forward with receipts, like actual DMs, old live stream moments, and posts from back when Doja was super engaged with her fan base. They're showing the difference. Back then, she was goofy, interactive, playful. Now, they say she's distant, defensive, and straight up dismissive. One viral tweet literally said, "I was a Doja Cat fan for 4 years. I went to 3 shows, bought her merch, streamed her music religiously, and now she's out here calling people musty for showing love? I'm out." And this isn't just about Pablo anymore. That moment was the spark, but what followed has been a firestorm of fans reflecting on how they've been treated by someone they admired. Because it's not about one tweet. It's about the tone, the pattern, and how the fan-to-artist relationship has completely soured. Some have even started unfollowing her en masse. Again, just like they did in 2023 when she told people to get a job. It's almost like every year, Doja hits a point where she reminds her own fan base how little she wants to be perceived as grateful. And while some people find it iconic, like she's just being blunt and setting boundaries, others feel straight up disrespected. It's a hard balance. Yes, celebrities deserve their space. Yes, boundaries matter. But when the tone turns hostile,
like if you went down to the gas station and some random dude just ran up to you and started touching your arms and being all friendly with you, you're gonna feel weird because you don't know that person. That's how these celebrities and how these different people look at you when you run up as a fan.
And the people who've lifted you up feel like they're being punched down on, it doesn't just go away. And right now, the energy around Doja Cat isn't misunderstood genius anymore. It's, girl, what are you doing? So, where does Doja Cat go from here? Because this isn't just about one fan. This has become a full-on pattern. From snapping at her stans, to tweeting out shady comments, to now publicly embarrassing someone who, let's be honest, was just trying to give her a gift during Pride Month. It's starting to feel like there's no going back. And yet, here's the complicated part. Doja still has one of the most unique voices in pop. She's wildly talented. She makes genre-bending music. She performs like a beast on stage. And her visuals? Insane. That's what makes all this even harder for fans to process. People want to love her, but it feels like she keeps pushing them away. Some fans say that's intentional, that Doja wants to burn off the parasocial crowd and keep her real ones, that she's not here for stans, or fan accounts, or online worship. She just wants to make music, say what she wants, and keep it moving. Cool, but here's the problem. You can't build your empire on a fandom, profit off that loyalty, and then treat the same people like they're disposable. That's not edgy, that's just alienating. And right now, the energy online feels off. Even fans who've defended her for years are stepping back, not just unfollowing, but disengaging. That's the real loss, because when people stop caring altogether, that's when it gets quiet. And for someone whose career has thrived on being talked about, whether it's chaos or praise, that silence could be louder than any tweet. At the end of the day, Doja has a choice. She can double down and keep the rebel image going. Or she can pause, reflect, and maybe find a new way to connect that isn't about trolling or throwing shade. Because this latest drama, it didn't feel empowering. It felt petty, it felt avoidable. and it left a lot of people questioning if they even want to keep showing up for her. So yeah, Doja Cat is under fire again. But this time, more people are walking away than ever before. And that's where we leave it. What do you think? Is Doja setting boundaries or just burning bridges? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.